Hey guys, and welcome to another Factorio Workshop. As always, I'm here with Matt Zuri,
Greetings.
and today we're going over a Kovarex build pretty much from the very beginning step to the last step, and we haven't gone over one of these in quite a while. This was submitted by Hightower 200, and it's actually a really clever and well done setup pretty much all around. So first off, the blueprint book, which is what the string will be in the description, actually contains each like section of it. So if you only want certain parts, you can do like only the ore processing, and then the Kovarex initial start, full Kovarex, the fuel cell production, and then the fuel cell recycling, and they all just kind of overlap with each other, or build upon each other rather. And then lastly, there's also a beacon version which fits in, or beacons that fit in perfectly with this final version. I'll show just on my screen that if you overlap these to this centrifuge right here, place it, and you now have speed beacons for the Kovarex process, which is pretty awesome. So, I don't know, did you want to kind of go over what's going on here and some of the smarts and stuff, Zuri?
Sure. Well, there's a lot of neat little belt tricks. Like side you feed the uranium on and how it circles around, it'll preferentially eat stuff put out of the machines. Stuff like that. A clever little, which direction the belt goes actually matters, and how you merge the belts actually matters.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. So I just wanted to hook this up and see, what this was. So it's about, 15 to 16 normally, 14 to 15 if one side of the belt's fully compressed. So if there's less than 4 here, the inserter pulling from the requester chest will feed onto this cycle for the U235. And if there's more than 28, it'll feed into the passive provider chest. So after a lane and a half pretty much is completely filled up.
Right.
And it should prevent it from clogging, but keep it running.
Exactly, and this is also kind of combining bots and belts. Bots do seem optional. There are places to feed and take all the resources via belts if you don't want to mess with bots, but those are added in really nicely here as well.
Yeah, it did seem you could use either one. There's a little bit of smarts here where if it tries to maintain enough for a whole craft in this box, and if there's more than that, it refeeds the U235 back around back to the loop.
Right, and another important note is he has overridden the stack size bonus to only export one, and this is really important. Otherwise, it may export too much, and then there wouldn't be a whole craft worth in here.
Correct. I'm thinking that might be fixed with the fact that as you remove it, it no longer meets the condition. So that may not be necessary, but it's double checking, I guess.
So then over here at the very end one, so these pass these through one to the next, and then at the end here we have a combinator that is essentially kind of just telling this when and where to put the extra U235 that you do get from this at the very end process.
Yeah, it's a little memory cell counter. So it resets at 41, and if it's less than equal to 40, it sends it on the top belt, and the 41st one it should send on the bottom belt. And then the counter resets.
Yep, exactly. So really nice way to do this, that if it gets above 41, you export the extra one on the bottom side, and then anything under that gets exported, as you can see here. On the top side, in sets of 10, this is also an overridden stack size to 10. And then pretty much he's just storing a ton of the 238 here to kind of pass back through and stuff in these normal chests. And bleeding a little bit off for the logistics system as well. And then at the start, he does have a little bit of smart setup for, it looks like, just limiting the input of uranium. Which I'm trying, so it looks like it reads all these boxes that he's putting stuff into And if there's less than 8,000, it outputs a count of 1 uranium, which is then sent to this guy multiplied by 100, I think. And then outputs uranium to this chest to request it. Yeah, I think. So, yeah. And then this limiter also will enable if there's less than 4,238 in the system here, this belt limiter.
And the turns the belt on and off, actually. If there's...
Right, yeah, it will prevent anything from going through here. And that pretty much covers it. Like Zuri said, there's some very nifty things with these belts. You got to look at it for a few minutes to really kind of get where stuff is going, but it is really important to make sure that they are all connected correctly and stuff, because otherwise things get clogged and mixed up and such.
It's a fun thing to play with, these little belt tricks.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess my only little gripe with this is, and this is a personal thing, I suppose, is that there's not productivities in these Kovarex or these uranium processing centrifuges. Typically, you want to try to productivity these if possible. But I suppose that's personal preference, but usually I much prefer productivity it just to get that extra out.
Let me double check if we can actually productivity these.
Pretty sure you can. Yep. I think the only parts in here you can't productivity is the actual Kovarex process and maybe the fuel cell process. The
reprocessing you cannot.
Yeah. And then same with the Kovarex, of course. But yeah, having stuff in here, it slows it down, but getting that extra process out, at least to start it, just to get your initial 235, can help quite a bit.
Yeah, mining enough. What did I calculate at? Like 36K, if I remember math from months ago.
I think it was even higher. I think it was closer to 60K.
That sounds more correct, I guess.
Yeah, I think, you calculated that like you need to mine like around 60,000 uranium or something to get your initial, on average, to get your initial 235 to actually start the process. So quite a lot. But there's now productivity modules on the belt. Nice.
Whoops.
Whoopsie. So that's going to end it here, guys. The blueprint book string will be in the description. If you're looking for a good Kovarex process thing from the initial point all the way to the end and any part in between you'd like, definitely check this out. Really good build. Are there anything else you want to add, Zuri?
No, that's pretty much it.
All right, that'll do it for this one, guys. Thanks for the submissions. Keep submitting. Leave thoughts down below, and we will see you next time.
Later.